On a public road, street racing is often an unofficial and unlawful form of automobile competition. Street racing is seen as an antiquated risk because it has been practiced for decades, and it is possible that it predates the invention of the automobile. It became particularly popular during the 1960s and 1970s heyday of high rodding, muscle vehicles, and Japanese imports, 1990s. Since then, it has remained both well-liked and dangerous, with yearly fatalities of passengers, drivers, and onlookers. Modern street racing in the United States has its origins in Woodward Avenue, Michigan, in the 1960s, a time when the three major American automakers with headquarters in Detroit were creating high-powered performance vehicles. Street races would be held on public roads illegally because a private racing location wasn't always accessible. Despite frequently occurring on empty roadways outside of cities or in the countryside, some races are also hosted in big industrial complexes. Street racing can be impromptu or well-organized and planned. People that organize well-coordinated races frequently communicate using two-way radios or citizens band radio, as well as by using GPS devices and police scanners to identify areas where local police are more likely to be present. Street racing's detractors point out that it lacks safety compared to officially sanctioned racing events and that accidents may result in legal consequences. Car collides. Vehicle meetings, in their most basic definition, are get-togethers of street racers and car enthusiasts with the sole aim of bringing their hobbies to the public's attention. This frequently refers to a sizable vacant parking lot, a location they specifically requested permission to use, or other places that are known to be welcoming to automobile enthusiasts. While street racing may be a part of some auto meets, many meets may advise against racing at all while attending the meets. Typically, this is done to avoid attracting the notice of the local police authorities, as meetings frequently do. At closed circuits like Sonic Automotive Circuits, some automobile meets are held. Atlanta Motor Speedway and Charlotte Motor Speedway host such events during the year. It's a race. The popularity of drifting and the racing, which originated predominantly in Japan, has spread to other regions of the world. Which translates to mountain pass in Japanese because these races are placed on mountain roads and passes, is a broad term for racing across mountain passes one car at a time or in a pursuit format, the definition of which varies per locale and racing organization. Del Dios Highway 1, near Escondido, California, Henteng Sempa in Malaysia, Highway 35, a few sections of British Columbia Highway 1 like the Malahide Drive, and Mount Haruna on the island of Honshu, Japan, are a few examples of such roads. However, street racing competitions may cause more individuals to race on a particular road than is normally allowed, hence leading to the reputation of inherent danger. Twos races, also known as battles, are often held at night between two automobiles using either initial D or cat and mouse rules. A series of races are conducted with the lead and chasing drivers starting at the starting line either side by side or bumper to bumper. The lead driver is declared the winner of the race if they are able to pull a significant gap, also known as a gap, by the time they cross the finish line. Instead of passing the lead driver to cross the finish line first, the match is won by the pursued driver if he is successful in keeping up with him. The trailing driver assumes the lead position in the second race, and the winner is chosen in the same way. A coin toss may be used to decide who is in the lead position if each driver wins one match. When there is not enough time to run two additional matches, or when a driver claims that his equipment cannot withstand the strain of another round, sudden death matches may be employed. The winner of a sudden death match wins the competition. If a driver crashes under initial D rules, the race is over and there are no sudden death matches. A crash could result in losing the match rather than merely the race if initial D rules are not used. As with any street racing, there are no set regulations, and as long as the challenger agrees to the race, any advantage a participant may have may be employed. Twos races that aren't battles exist. There are no victors or losers when street racers gather for club runs, exhibitions, test runs, or fun runs. Sprints, often known as cannonball runs, are forcible point-to-point road rallies with two or more competitors. They are reminiscent of the recognized European races from the late 19th century. The disastrous 1903 Paris-Madrid race was called off at Bordeaux for safety grounds following multiple fatalities involving cars and pedestrians, which put an end to the races. When Owen George Baker drove across the country on record-setting runs that stood for years while being legal at the time, point-to-point runs were once again practiced in the United States in the middle of the 1910s. To describe him and his runs, the nickname Cannonball was created. Nowadays, drivers compete in cross-country or town races. The winner is the one who clocks the quickest overall time. The original Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash, popularly referred to as the Cannonball Run, which was established in the 1970s by veteran automotive journalist Brock Yates, is a prime example of a prohibited road race. The Cannonball Run is the most well-known of the several movies that were inspired by the exploits. Many years after the infamous Cannonball, Yates produced a kid-friendly and largely legal One Lap of America, which is still in operation today and features speeding on racetracks. There are still a few events that may be deemed racing, such as the Gumball 3000, Gumball Rally, and Players Run races, even though it is fairly difficult, if not impossible, to organize an illegal and extremely dangerous road race nowadays. Most of the participants in these races, which are actually rallies for the purpose of legality, are wealthy people who race sports cars across the nation for entertainment. The AKA rally, on the other hand, is intended for people with a modest budget, around $3,000. These events typically have all-inclusive entry prices, hotels, food, and events. From a starting point to specified spots, participants rally together until they reach the finish line. To reduce the possibility of drivers becoming overly enthusiastic on public highways, the AKA Rally in particular has planned driver-oriented events, such as autocross or drag strip racing, off of public roads. The latter racing scene has also given rise to a number of television and video series, such as the Mischief movie franchise and the Bull Run reality TV program. Many street racers believe that the sport is about the hustle, especially those who compete in quarter-mile or eighth-mile measured races. This might be compared to the tactics used by individuals like card sharks or pool sharks. In essence, each racer will attempt to minimize how fast their own car actually is by employing strategies to hide special equipment that other racers might use to assess the speed of the car. When racers do this, they typically want to give a possible rival a disadvantageous start, such the above-mentioned car lengths or starting line leave. During these conversations, many of these racers would also start tense fights in an effort to persuade or otherwise shame their rival into providing a handicap term that they might not otherwise offer. There is an honor code even in this kind of racing. Even if they weren't directly questioned about it, the majority of racers will consider it cheating if a racer brazenly lies about any aspect or capability of their own car. A racer should respond honestly if questioned precisely if they have a part, modification, or about the size of their engine. Acceptable falsehoods are frequently omissional lies. When a racer is questioned about their engine and states that they have a tiny block engine, that is an example of a lie of omission. Small block engines come in a variety of sizes and designs, thus a potential opponent would be forced to make an educated guess as to the engine's capability unless they inquired further about the engine. A racer would be caught in a flagrant falsehood if they clearly said that they did not use nitrous oxide or any other modifications, or if they mentioned inaccurate weight or horsepower figures. When gambling is involved, the discovery of blatant lies can lead to very tense disputes, and a racer who is caught in a lie is nearly always required to make good on the wager. Dangers can include fatalities, severe injuries, and negative legal repercussions. In Los Angeles, street racing-related accidents have claimed at least 179 lives since 2000. Additionally, a street race involving gang involvement or other organized crime may frequently involve violence or other criminal behavior, such gambling. A street race associated with criminality may also involve considerable gambling and prostitution, which is frequently offered as a reward for the victor. That was for today. Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel.